The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 7, entitled The Believer. This is Chapter 15. And we get Bill Burr back as Migs Mayfield. Now, in this episode, Mando and Mayfield go undercover as stormtroopers in a hidden Rhydonium refinery on Morak. Now, Burr is funny, and he's a favorite comic of mine, so it's great to have him back. Now, on their way, pirates try to blow up their vehicle. They're blowing up every one of the vehicles that blowing up the Rhydonium, and they get to theirs, and after they're able to, well, Mando goes out there and he gets rid of them. He tries to get as much rid of them as possible so that they don't blow up the Rhydonium in their vehicle. Well, two TIE fighters come out. And that iconic blaster sound, I loved hearing that iconic blaster sound. It reminds me of the Star Wars of old. And they take care of them, and then as they land and they get, well, not land, but once they get to the base, the other stormtroopers take care of the rest of them. Now, while inside, they got to get the coordinates. They end up having a confrontation with the former commanding officer of Mayfield's named Valen Hess. And we see Mando having to take off his helmet. It's something that goes against his way. We know about that. But he does in order to do the face scan. The commanding officer confronts him, asks him for his ID number and everything, and quick thinking Mayfield gives his number, says, "Hey, since something like an explosion or something that happened on someplace else, like he's lost his hearing, he's not able to hear you, understand you, about that." We'll quick on his feet. I love Mayfield. I love how he's just so quick on his feet, and he's able to just get Mando out of that situation, and takes him to go get a well. Before that, I'm looking at Slave Ship One. Every time you see that iconic vessel of Boba Fett's, man, and then you're thinking every time I hear Fett, take care of this. Hey, Boba Fett, make sure make sure Fett, do this. Every time they ask him for something, and he responds, and you know, and you're just like going, Boba Fett. Boba Fett is actually in this episode, in this season, in this season on the show. It's something that you would never have thought you would hear unless they did like another Star Wars film, and it takes place during that time when he was alive. In a sense that when you knew him last, we didn't know that he was alive until a few episodes ago, right? Right. So that's amazing. Now getting back to the situation, they have a drink. He takes them to go take a drink. Let's have a drink. Because those two were the only ones that survived. Their vehicle was the only one that survived the pirates' attack. Let's go get a drink. Let's go get go get something. And he's talking to them about past uh, invasions, if you want, killing people in their areas and all that stuff. And you can see because he had a discussion with Mayfield did with Mando to say that who's a hero, who's a hero, who's a villain. You do what you do, but is it any better than what the Empire does, or the Stormtroopers, or whomever does? It's just like, regardless, of what we do and what we do it for, is we're all the same people. So he really grew tired of Valen Hess's, you know, being but he's being so, wow, talking about how, he just enjoyed doing what he did to people and their communities and their colonies and all that. Just, many people died, and he's even talking about, Big's talking about, yeah, and my fellow soldiers, and yeah, as if he's saying, yeah, you enjoy doing that, but then you killed I lost a lot of, like I lost a lot of fellow soldiers, and it just drove him to a point where it's just like, oh, whatever, what the heck. And then he kills Valen Hess, and then he and Mando have to shoot up a mess load of troopers as they're advancing on them. They killed off those who were in the guess you would call it a cantina or a bar, and then they find themselves, on a ledge, fighting them off still, and then with the aid of Cara Dune and Fennec Shan, and also Boba Fett, they take care of them. Now Boba Fett is able to, he extracts both Mayfield and Boba Fett, and then they find themselves having to shake off two TIE fighters. Boba Fett is able to get rid of them with a unique type of a bomb or something. I think it's like a photon bomb or something. I mean, I'm just guessing, but pretty cool. Had let off this blue ring, and it took care of them. And then Mayfield is on the ground and is like going, "Okay, officer," puts his arms out. And then Cara Dune's like, "You know what? It's a shame what happened to she says his prison number." And then Mando's like, "Yeah, it is. Yeah, he got killed in that, in that refinery explosion on Morak, And then he's like, "Okay, so I get to go, because if it is, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna, And he goes off, and they just let him go. Now I'm thinking that he's going to pop up in another episode, maybe doing something shady again, maybe causing issues for Mando, and then Mando's gonna be like, "Damn it, we gotta let this guy go. He's never gonna learn." But hopefully he'll learn from this. We'll see. And then Mando is able to send Moff Gideon a hologram message, and through that message he said,
"Moff Gideon, you have something I want. You may think you have some idea what you are in possession of, but you do not. Soon, he will be back with me. He means more to me than you will ever know."
And the funny thing about this is the fact that you can feel in this message it came about because of the time when he had to take off his, he took off his helmet, which he doesn't want to do because that's not the way. He doesn't want to show his face, and you see the vulnerability in his face. You see, his eyes tell a story, and he's doing all this because of Grogu. He's grown to love the little guy as if like he was his son. At first, it was just an asset, but you gotta remember in that first time that he confronted or came into contact with the Grogu, that he was like, what are you going to do with him? He was always asking. He was like, what are you going to do with him? What's going to happen to him? And Ricardo's like, don't worry about it. It's not yours to worry about. And then he grew to worry about him, and and when he picked up that the ball that Grogu was always obsessed with playing with, when he was all in the dirt and dust, he picked it up after Grogu was kidnapped. Right there, I think that's when it really definitely clicked to how much he cares about this kid, And speaking of him, I'm also disappointed I didn't get to see Grogu in all his cuteness. But anyway, this episode was my favorite. Well, not my favorite. It wasn't. I don't know why I said my favorite. Kind of slipped out. But no, it wasn't my favorite. That still goes. It belongs to episode 6. But this episode was a means to get us to the next one. It was a bridge, if you will. But seeing Bill Burr again as Mayfield was enjoyable. I enjoy everything he does. A big fan of his. I've been going about 10 years now. I love his series, F is for Family, but I haven't gotten to see the last season, which is season 4. And I do remember seeing that it was like a YouTube video that said that he was talking about the F for Family ending, and I'm thinking, wow, that sucks though. But hopefully he's going to go one more season. Hopefully he's not saying that this was the last season. Hopefully there's one more season and then he'll end it. But it's a great animated show, real funny. Really, really does put his kind of humor out there, and I love it. But this episode really was, it wasn't the best one, but that's not saying that it's not wasn't good, that it wasn't good, or even that wasn't even a great episode. It's just like I said, it was just a way to kind of, like I said, be a bridge to the next episode, and the next one should be balls out. I'm pretty sure. It's gonna probably be amongst the top episodes again, but. I mean, probably this is probably out of the 7 episodes. This is the in ranking is the seventh. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's just a means to get to the next episode. That's how I'm seeing it. That's how I'm. I was expecting much. I mean, especially coming off of see episode 6, where it was all about Boba Fett. It was all about he revealed his lineage to Django and all this stuff. So it's just one of those things where we all have to just take it in, take it for what it was, and think about it. Don't just go, oh, this episode sucked. Oh, this episode was boring, or this episode was slow, or it didn't make no sense, or it was nonsensical. All that stuff. I don't even look at it that way. I enjoyed it. It's hard not to, because this television series, I mean television, but this series is just so amazing on all kinds of levels. It gets you in the feels. It makes you nostalgic. It makes you remember Star Wars. It makes you the old Star Wars. I mean, this is like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and it's still after the fall of the Empire. So you know, it's right around there. So it's just in close contact with, like, previously, not that long ago, it was Return of the Jedi time. It was that time. You know what I mean? So it's just like the connection is so great. It's not like years and years, decades and decades later, and then there's no. Sometimes there's not even any reference to the past. I mean, if they do, it's kind of passing. But like I said, I enjoyed this episode. It really was great. I can't wait for the next one. See if in fact Mando will be able to get to Moff Gideon, be able to retrieve the child, and hopefully the child. I don't know what the child's been going through at this point. Did it show me here? But it's to make us know. It makes us kind of wonder in our mind, think about him, like what's going on with the kid. Hopefully he's okay. But anyway, that's my video for The Mandalorian Season 7, Chapter 15, entitled The Believer. And I believe that this is a great show. Thoroughly enjoyable. And I hope it goes on and on and on and doesn't see, the end of days yet. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. And in closing, and as always, take care.